So Castlevania Season 4 just came out, and I figure I should make a short recap of the first 3 seasons for anybody who needs it. That being said, let's go! First things first, Lisa and Dracula fall in love with each other while she was studying to become a doctor in Dracula's castle. Years pass and they have a kid together named Alucard. More on him later, but while Dracula was away, Lisa gets captured by the church and burned at the stake because they think she's a witch. She was in fact not a witch. When Dracula finds out, he gives him 1 year to repent before he gives them the worst beating of their life. Actually, the worst murder history in history.
1 year, then I'll wipe all human life from the land of Wallachia.
His son Alucard actually tried to stop him, but he gets bodied by his father because his father is the king of the vampires and he's just, his zygote. That being said though, Dracula in fact 1 year later released his monsters on the world.
Jesus Christ.
We then meet Trevor Belmont, the last surviving member of the famous monster hunting family, but everybody currently hates the Belmonts because there's a rumor going around that they're the reasons why Dracula released the monsters on the world instead of the church. I wonder who started that shit. Before I go any further, I want to make sure that you guys know that Trevor is no joke, and neither is this animation. This is like the best I've seen from Netflix ever. Anyway, spicy, thick, juicy animation aside, while traveling, Trevor meets and starts to travel with a speaker and magician by the name of Saifa Belnades. I like saying that name. Saifa Belnades. Belnades and Belmont. Anyways, together Trevor and Saifa wake up Adrian Tepish, aka Alucard, Dracula's one and only son. And together the three team up to put an end to Dracula. With season 2 we meet Hector and Isaac, two humans that hate or don't care about any other humans. But they are very loyal to Dracula and create his armies called the Night Hordes. Yeah, those things. We also meet Carmilla, a vampire who wants to take Dracula's place as the leader of the vampires. Moving on, from now on I'm gonna call Hector Hector the Simp and Isaac Isaac the Loyal. Because for better or worse, those are their most displayed qualities. Anyways, while Hector the Simp starts to simp for Carmilla, Trevor, Saifa, and Alucard go get some weapons and knowledge to defeat Dracula while bonding, of course, at Trevor's old home. Carmilla, through the use of Hector the Simp, creates her own army and feeds distrust into Dracula's court. Meanwhile, Isaac the Loyal, stays loyal to the point of easily killing one of Dracula's generals who planned to overthrow Dracula with the help of Carmilla. Speaking of Carmilla, she also convinced Hector the Simp to convince Isaac the Loyal to convince Dracula to move the castle to Brayla, where Carmilla will have an ambush waiting. Of course, once the castle is teleported to Brayla, Carmilla's vampires ambush it as she takes Hector the Simp as a prisoner. While that's going on, Saifa figures out how to teleport the castle into their current location, which is the Belmont family hold, so she does exactly that. Since the castle's right on top of them, Alucard, Trevor, and Saifa invade Dracula's castle to stop him once and for all. Before Isaac could get the chance to give his life for Dracula, Dracula throws him into the mirror, which teleports him into a desert, so he's safe. But Dracula's not, because he's about to get washed. After this beautifully animated battle, Dracula lets himself get killed by Alucard, and they save the day. Well, sort of, because now the humans won't be attacked by Dracula, they'll just be attacked by the church and everybody else. Alucard decides to stay in the castle by himself, and Saifa and Trevor decide to travel the world trying to clean it up. He started season 3 with Alucard being so lonely that he's talking to dolls of Trevor and Saifa only after a month of them being away,
Stop it. Get some help.
while Trevor and Saifa are still traveling. On the other hand, after traveling a month, Carmilla finally reached her castle where his sisters Striga and Lenore were waiting for her. And of course, Hector the Simp is still her prisoner. Anyways, Trevor and Saifa, while traveling, go to a town where Mr. Saint Germain is staying. Saint Germain is basically this guy who's pretty easygoing but becomes important to the story a little later. While in the town, Trevor and Saifa notice that the people of the Priory are acting a little strange, because not only do they know details they shouldn't know about the Battle of Dracula, but they also have a symbol on their arms that's a symbol for hell, which is very strange for a church to have. So Trevor and Saifa start to investigate them. That's happening, Isaac is on a search for Hector and just doing his thing. I can bring myself to hate Isaac because even though he already hates humanity, he still takes the time to listen to what other people had to say before making his decision. That's a solid man right there. Meanwhile, Alucard becomes friends with two vampire hunters, Sumi and Taka, who claim that they need Alucard's help to learn how to better fight vampires. But sadly for Alucard, they betrayed him and tried to kill him. So, he killed them, but we now get back to Hector the Simp, who will now be upgraded to Hector the Super Simp. This is because in the second season, he gets played by Carmilla, but in this season, he gets played by her sister, Lenore. Like, come on, bro, learn.
Think, Martin.
Anyways, that clown aside, Trevor and Saifa start to investigate the Priory, which leads them to meeting Saint Germain, who is in search of something called the Infinite Corridor, which is essentially a portal to other worlds. And Mr. Saint Germain here has lost somebody precious to him to the corridor, which is the reason why he investigates the Priory, because he believes there's a portal under it. But we find out that the monks of the Priory have been keeping a night creature under the Priory and sacrificing souls for it. Trevor, Saifa, and Saint Germain decide to attack the Priory while the souls are being sacrificed, but as they are attacking the Priory, the Infinite Corridor opens and monsters starts to pour out of it. After the corridor opens, we see that Dracula and his wife are in hell together. I don't know why she's in hell, but hey, good for you, Dracula, good for you. After Trevor and Saifa make easy, and I mean easy work of the monsters that came out of the portal, Saint Germain finds the person who he lost in the portal, goes in, and closes the portal from the other side. He also told Trevor and Saifa that he'll see them again. Pretty weird, but worth noting. With that, we see that Isaac the Loyal is now Isaac the Badass because he took over a city of enslaved people all by himself. I mean, technically not by himself, but by himself. We then see Trevor and Saifa head out on another journey after being disturbed by everything they've seen in that town, and Alucard becoming cold-hearted after being betrayed by his two new friends. And yeah, that's it.